All right, good.
Fantastic, thank you. So my name is Pauline Bétrancourt. I am very excited to be here with you for this monthly practice hour and hosting it. You know certainly the Marchutz School, or you have been familiar with it and you have participated in many of these practice hours. It's a very important time for the community to get together and to practice together because it gives a lot of motivation. This Masterwork practice hour have been brought to you in collaboration with the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. And I started to be involved with the community and the school since 2007. And I started teaching since 2013. So I am very grateful for the school and the community and for Nick for his trust to let me lead this session. So the summer program just ended and it was absolutely wonderful. We had a 5-week summer program, and between the high schoolers, the adults, and the artists in residence, we had more than 34 people out in the field, and it was just incredible. So before we start, I would like just to point out to you some upcoming programs that I'm very excited to share. I'm going to share my screen. Hop. Partager. And voila. So can you see properly? Great. So first, coming up in November is the Boston Museum Trip, Imagination and Form in Great Works of Art, a museum study seminar led by Alan Roberts, and it will be from November 7th to the 9th. I don't know if some of you have participated in these museums program, but they are life-changing experience because you spend an incredible amount of time looking at works of art and really see deeply into them and what they have to reveal, both in terms of form and content. And it's absolutely incredible. So I highly encourage you, if you can, to consider attending this one or any museum study seminar, because it is really incredible how much it also changes the way you work as a painter, because you start to really enrich your conception and your own imagination of how to create a whole work. Then I would like to also talk to you about an online course that Nick Velleman will be leading from September 14th to October 5th. It's called Eyes for You, Deep Guided Practice in Color Mixing. Voila. If you are considering learning a lot more about color mixing, that is, I think, a fantastic opportunity to follow this class with Nick. Then I wanted to tell you that I actually also offer, in partnership with the Leo Marchutz School, some personalized online critics for people who already have a practice and they want some feedback. It's more like an in-depth work, really looking at a portfolio together and getting a lot of feedback and guidance. And as well, I will be launching this fall some monthly online courses, and Rose will upload all the information on the website very soon, and it will be once a month, and it's just a way to get back on track into the drawing and into color and talking about composition too. So be ready to receive more information about these online classes that happen just once a month, and you can join one or multiples, and voila. Don't hesitate also to ask me any question that you may have. And I also encourage you to look at all the programs that the school offers on site or online, because there's a lot of things going on. Voila. So I would like then to switch to our image. So up, and I'm going to reduce these. I will do it a little differently than Nick. So I can put this on the side, maybe. Voila. So what I propose is that if you want to follow me as I paint and as I work, as I draw, you can keep the screen like that, but also in the chat, I have put the image, and you can access the image directly. Okay. We are going to be working today together from this incredible Daumier. And maybe if some of you went to the Musée d'Orsay or have been with the school, you've seen this painting many times. So I'm just going to reread some few guidelines and reminders so we can all be on the same page. So this is an opportunity for artists to get some practice. This is not a class, and I don't necessarily have a planned lesson, but I'm going to share with you some important things that I think are interesting to consider as one's works. When working from a masterwork, the goal is not to make a forgery, but to have your own experience with the masterwork and practice putting it together according to whatever key relationships and essential elements you see. Make your own parallel image with your own touch. It is always, I have found in my own experience, an opportunity to learn. So I will be sharing insights about my process as the session unfolds. And as I said, you can either download the image and just look at the image that I've put in the chat, or you can keep the screen like that and keep working. Feel free to ask the question. However, if you don't have anything to say, it's better if you remain muted to eliminate any distracting background noise. And likewise, if you're in the zone and you just want to work, feel free to mute me, okay? Alors, I'm just going to try to keep you on the side. You can put on some music at home. Voilà. Special thank you to our returning participants who regularly contribute. I'm very happy to meet you all. So I am going to start. I chose this incredible painting because it's also a great way to think about both color and drawing coming together in a light fashion. If we look at the strokes, and the white of the canvas is definitely used as a beautiful bright light. I used it because it's the kind of painting that really makes you consider the frame. So it is really important for this painting in particular to really try to work with a frame that is very elongated. And you can draw it kind of, freehand, and also consider that at any moment you can also enlarge it a little bit if needed. But this is the beginning of your world in which whatever strokes you're going to put in is really going to create some relationship between the elements. So I'm going to start and I'll see how I go. And if I go a little fast, I may do another one or watercolor. Voila. I also found this drawing to be, and I already seeing that this is actually in the middle. So I like to use also this very soft eraser because it really helped me to either erase something if I make a mistake or tone down a value. There is an incredible amount of relationships in this painting too. And I always found it quite remarkable to see the patterns. And here I may have started a little large, but it's always good with the lightness of hand to sort of being able to adjust the scale. And to try to address the whole. Well, guess I already went a little large. What helps me when I draw often is to kind of channel also the character of the things that I'm looking at, and little by little try to see where they relate in relationship to one another. And here I may be a little short in the bottom, but that's okay. The Sancho Panza to Don Quixote relationship is fantastic to explore, and Daumier did incredible series about it, and particularly the way Don Quixote is really majestic and elongated on his horse, while Sancho Panza is really incarnating down-to-earth figure. I think. And soon, I really need to put in the mule and the ground to not leave any space that would not be addressed in relationship to the whole. That. So I think I'm going to make a second one because I shrinked a lot that space. And that's why drawing is really in itself a lesson in seeing how things relate. So what I found also fascinating when drawing is how to pursue the luminous effect of the whole, even though it doesn't have to be exactly the same type of strokes, obviously, or the same type of medium. And there are infinite ways of translate a light to dark relationship. What I found to be helpful is really to pay attention to how the light and the darks come together, and to kind of respect the scale of the light in relationship to the dark. But that scale can be, to a certain extent, distorted, as long as the relationship remain truthful to the character of what is emerging. Sancho Panza is really a lot smaller at the eye level of the mule, almost as if he was himself part of the terrestrial creature, while Don Quixote is so tall, belonging to the sky, absorbed in his reverie, if I may say. And all these mark making that Daumier created, because he did create that from his imagination, is in favor of unfolding a dramatic scene. And I found it to be extraordinarily enriching to work from pre-existing works of art, because you can actually feed your imagination. And also that is definitely done by studying from nature, because you really sharpen the way you see things. One thing that I also found fascinating, that sometimes we're trying to draw a subject, a thing, something, but actually it is by addressing another element within the work that we can truly give it its sensation. For example, the stroke that I just put, that vertical stroke that exists in the work, a little bit in a diagonal, it really helps to continue to ground the figure of Sancho Panza. And so sometimes element that appears to be secondary are actually really important. Well, I personally find that when working from a masterwork, I am being very generously offered a vision and an incredible way to see how it has been done, how it has been put together. And by pursuing that sense of unity and wholeness in one's work, I have a sensation that it helps me see and find it in my own work. And also the unfolding of the different marks and the coming together of the work is a little bit like a journey in itself. It's a little bit like in as if I was watching unfold a theater play or a world. So I think that right now, instead of overworking this one, I may try to work on a second one and try to make it a little bit more tall, because I made it a little large, which has given me less option to give space to this. And we can see how important the placement of the mule in relationship to the bottom of the painting, as well as to the characters, is really important. Maybe this time I'm going to be a little bit more careful, and from the start, with a lightness of hand, just really try to place different element, even very briefly, a little bit better in relationship to one another. still made the horse a little too big this time. Again, it's hard because we always want to put the central characters a little bigger than they are. I always find that this searching for the line with different little strokes, we all have very different way of creating our own mark making, and it's such a personal, organic process that evolves sometimes with time. But also it's kind of the moment where our hand help us reveal what we see. And I always found it really fascinating that depending on how I work, the tension or the release, how delicate I am with the strokes, how much I can really help the process of the image come forth. Well, I'm going beyond my frame again. That's why with this kind of format and all these formats in general, to make a smaller rectangle in the middle really help us sometimes to push out a little bit from the edges. I do like to hold my pencil sideways because it gave me a lot more freedom in terms of the curves and using really the side of the pencil too, and have a wider um, have wider strokes if I need. Whoops. I would also recommend in your own practice working in series, because sometimes some sketches or paintings are kind of warm up to get in the zone, but also to kind of become more familiar with the subject that one is pursuing. And it's also a fantastic way to sort of compare the character of things and learn from it. So whether it is working from a an original artwork or from a still life or a landscape, or it's always good to sort of gain a different kind of a perspective on the rendering of your vision. And it also helped to de-dramatize the oneness, or the sometimes the high expectation that we put on ourselves to always, perform. And it becomes like a rehearsing. It's a little bit more like you're singing or you're playing piano. And every time you're singing or playing piano, you're never expecting yourself to do something fantastic from the start. And I always found it really, really helpful to do multiples. Some of the crack in the dirt on the ground, or the little strokes above the mule belly, the round one, is a really important transition in between the spaces. And I always found it fascinating how the so-called details actually reside in the most sometimes humble things to help really ground the work. And most importantly, create relationship and some sort of passages in between the different plans or the different moments within the depth. I'm going to mute myself for a second because I'm going to try to cut the two drawing that I've made. So we have around 10 minutes left together. You can continue to work. I'm just noticing how much for my second one I placed two characters a lot better up high, so they seem a little further. I think I can still do, I can push them back a little. Just interesting to compare how the positioning on the page really helps. And also I would say that upward movement here of the mule is really helping connect with the other ones. It's fascinating because they are actually quite small within the composition, the original composition, but because we look at them, they take so much space in our perception. And I found it really, really fascinating to find, the right distance, the right size to things in order to make them, come forth or not. It's really fascinating when you're trying to make moving characters, when you're really trying to incorporate the whole image with elements that are maybe more also stable in the foreground, but they are actually, the fact that the foreground is so massive, I mean, it really helps, like in a landscape, to push things back too. And for the ones working maybe in color, it is quite remarkable to notice all the orange to blue relationships as complementary colors, but also there's a little bit of a purple to yellow. I'm gonna give you until 7 to continue to draw, and then we can talk for the ones who are available a little bit if you have any questions. have a couple of minutes. But of course, you can keep working on it if you want a little later, because you have the image. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for now. Okay? So I can have you all back here. And please, if you have any comment, anything to share, if you have any questions, we can take a few minutes. Did you find it hard? Did you find it interesting? Did you find it? What happened?
I'm somebody who's a real beginner. I don't have formal training, and every time I do one of these practice hours, the picture comes up and I think there's no way, and somehow I manage. So I like that feeling. It keeps happening.
Isn't it incredible that the more you look, the more you see, but also when you spend more and more time just to pay to the light to dark relationships, stroke by stroke, you sculpt the light of your page. It's just incredible.
I think, hi, Pauline.
Hi, Mary.
That was one of the things with this image. It's not my first time seeing it, but it's been a long time since I've looked at it. And how many colors come out the more you see. I mean, it's just exploding with color. And you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a pencil drawing, or oh, it's Conte, and then all these colors just reveal themselves. And it's just an extraordinary piece of work for that, because it just keeps giving you more the more time you have with it. So thanks for this pick.
My pleasure. I'm always fascinated by this painting. It's just.
I'm also a beginner with no training, and I've never found white that I didn't want to fill in. So keeping white was actually pretty hard for me. Keeping the white space.
And that white space is actually a light. It's a little bit, the relationship that exists between drawing, watercolor, and a lot of the work of, Daumier is not an impressionist, but the relationship with how the impressionists also later on use the white of the canvas as a light. It's hard because it kind of forces you to not separate the practice of drawing from the practice of painting.
Was it just watercolor, or was there charcoal or anything else on the original?
Alors, on this one, I am pretty sure, I am so sorry. On this original one, I'm pretty sure that's an oil painting. Definitely.
It's just straight up oil, no charcoal or anything.
I can look it up and tell you later.
No, I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
It's Don Quixote with a dead mule. I'm pretty sure it's just an oil painting. So I just want to thank you for this beautiful moment that we shared together with Daumier. It's a little bit like opening a beautiful space of just being together, witnessing as a character. It's a little bit like if we were in the book for a moment. So special thank you to our returning participant who regularly contribute, and we are happy to offer this monthly online practice hour at no cost to the community. So if you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation to support the mission of the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. And I gave the link, I put it in the chat. And so what I think we should do is a screenshot, and I hope it's gonna work right now with my computer. You ready? Oops. Oh, wow. Well, I have the blurry background that is being annoying, so let me change that. Voila. We're good. Alors, let me just try to make it happen. Commande Shift 3 et Commande Shift 3. Great. Thank you so much. Beautiful work, everyone. Beautiful work.
You sharing your own ideas as you went along. They were really interesting and thoughtful.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you. Well, I wish you all a wonderful evening, and I am looking forward to meeting you in person in the future, or online too. Well, we stay in touch, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.